Hello everyone and welcome back. We left off on Changing Days. That sounds depressing. Um, we left off on a very interesting spot in Raw Aconite's route. Um, not something I was expecting, but Raul had convinced her to come home with him to experience something that they were having a debate over, and she agreed. So I am assuming it's the next morning since everything's blacked out right now. When I woke up, it was to an unfamiliar ceiling. Oh, I suddenly remembered the situation at hand. That's right. I turn over to my side. My mind is still hazy as I rest my hand on my forehead and see Raul lying next to me. It's Raul Aconite, alright. I spent the night with him. And it felt so good too. I don't need to know that. Raul was surprisingly gentle when we did the deed. Why do they call it a deed? It's like you're doing a lawful act or something in society. Like, I don't understand. In the beginning, we started on top of one another on the training machine. Then we moved to his bed. Training machine? Why would you do that there? That seems so uncomfortable. Oh my goodness. When I felt so overwhelmed that I couldn't stand up anymore, he carried me up the steps. He was so gentle with me. Couldn't stand anymore. I don't need you to recap it for me. Like, we understand. This reminds me of in The Sims. You can recap your woohoo now, and it's like, really? Why? But whatever. Because of that, I feel quite comfortable. My only memories are pleasant and pleasurable. Even though I'm the god of love, I can't deny how delightful my first time was. No. I experienced intimacy as humans do so I can help Rao understand love. He's on cloud 9. Yet even though I was charged with matchmaking, I still don't quite understand love for myself. But I do think that if this had been with someone that I loved, it would feel like so much more. Will it truly be even more enjoyable than this time? Maybe I should think otherwise. After all the other gods casually sleep with humans all the time. Many of Lord Jupiter's myths are all about his sexcapades. Oh my goodness. It's an open secret in Celestia, though it's not often talked about. He would turn himself into oxen, clouds, or even swans to seduce women. And Mom and Dad are the same. They cheated on each other with humans all the time. It ended in anger sometimes and sometimes in laughs. I researched all that stuff back in college, and I was surprised when I learned. I've been interested in it ever since. The dicontinent seemed to be obsessed with making love, and I wanted to learn as much as I could about it. To be honest, I did have the desire to try it out at least once before returning to Celestia. Try it out like it's a food dish. Raul was starting to stir. He stretched a little bit and opened his eyes. He rolled into his side and pulled out his phone. The movement was so natural, he must do it all the time when he's alone. There was no pillow talk like in the movies. What happened yesterday really was nothing special to him. I doubt he would care if he was sleeping next to a naked girl or a stone statue. Oh. Let's see. So it's peek at his phone, but we're going to push for some pillow talk first. Women's magazines always mentions the importance of pillow talk. I should act accordingly to prepare for him for real love. Good morning, Rao. I peered into Rao's face so that he would direct his attention to me instead of his phone. But he just glanced over at me, then right back to his phone. Don't you have anything to say?
このマーズ像のこと？
He doesn't even care. Rao showed me his screen, which showed an article that read Mars statue discovered. No, that's not what I meant.
あ、わかった。じゃあお腹減ったんだね。
Huh? Well...
了解。今作ってくるよ。下のソファーで待ってて。
He jumped nimbly up and headed downstairs. He must have sensed another lecture coming and ran off to avoid it. Alright, let's go to the phone. Peek at his phone. I wonder what he's looking at. My interest was piqued, so I took a peek at his screen. I was surprised at what I saw. There was a photo of a statue wearing weird clothes with the headline, Mars statue discovered. Mars? My dad, in other words. Lord Mars?
あれ、起きてたの？
I looked over at Raul. His naked shoulder brushed against me as he turned his phone screen towards me.
そう。ギリシャの洞窟で見つかったらしいんだ。見てよ、この槍。マーズ神らしいよね。きっと当時、人間界に来たマーズを見て、彫刻職人が作ったものなんじゃないかな。君はどう思う？
Huh? Actually, I don't think that's Mars. He never used a weapon like that. I mumbled that nonchalantly, and Raul was suddenly wide awake.
それ、どういうこと？
Oh
どうしてそう思うの？
put some clothes on first. Because, how could I explain? It just wasn't his style. He always said he preferred axes, but I couldn't say that, so I started thinking... right. You know how Mars helped the Trojans during the Trojan War? But this spear clearly comes from ancient Greece. I'm sure even he suffered many injuries in the war, and he never stopped thinking about them, probably. So he never carried a weapon from an enemy nation. His pride wouldn't allow it.
悔しいから。
Right. Mars was famous for his endless pride. She's speaking from experience, and he's like, oh my goodness, I must know more. Raul just stared at me with his mouth hanging open. Suddenly he started laughing.
すごいや。君の考察は最高だね。
Ah. He jumped up to hug me, and we rolled over onto the bed. We knocked our foreheads together, but his eyes were sparkling. Ow.
まずは負けず嫌いだからこんなの持たないか。すごい。まるで見てきたかのように神のことを話すんだね。
Well, I have.
俺は当時のことしか考えてなかった。きっとこの頃はマーズが人間界にいたんだって嬉しくなるばっかりで。でも君はそう思わないんだね。普通の人はいかにも神っぽいって言うのに、君本当にすごいね。
Not really?
うん。君の考察で俺もそう思えてきたよ。自分の中にない考えを聞くのがこんなに楽しかったの初めてだよ。そっか。古代ギリシャ時代では神が人間の世界に降りてきてたって言われているから、マーズが持っててもおかしくないって思ったんだけど。
Sure does talk a lot.
よく考えたらそうだよな。自分が負けた戦で相手が使ってた武器なんてやだよね。君って本当に神のことよく考えてるんだね。
Yeah.
うん。やっぱり君と話せるのが一番楽しいや。新しい発見ばっかりだよ。
Raul giggled again as we embraced and rolled around on the bed. He was acting like some wild bear cub, and I couldn't help but laugh along with him. To me, it was totally natural, but Raul is only human after all, so it was pretty much alien to him.
それじゃあぜひ君に軍神マルスの決戦特選集を読んで感想を一つ一つ聞かせてもらいたいんだけど。
How about we get some food first? I knew this discussion could go on forever, so I interrupted him. I actually was hungry too. We got plenty of exercise last night, which I'm sure explained it.
あ、そっか。確かにお腹減ったね。朝ごはんにしよっか。
Raul smiled wide as he climbed out of bed. His lean, muscular build was outlined by the morning sun. I recalled a review of one of Raul's movies, Hannibal, where they praised his strong physique. I could see why.
じゃあ俺作ってくるから、よかったら下のソファーで待ってて。朝ごはん食べながら話の続きをしよう。
And from there, when I got downstairs, I smelled something nice from the kitchen. The scent of fresh toast reached me as I sat on the couch, just as Raul had suggested. The statues placed near the windows caught my eye, even if I didn't want to look at them. I recognize one of them from the back of Parasite House. It was the Neptune statue that looked just like Aunt Minerva. I wonder where he got it. It seemed to be in pristine shape, so I doubted it'd been dug up from some excavation site. It could be a replica. I wouldn't be surprised if Raul had commissioned it himself. What about the other statues? I moved my view to the side and noticed a mysterious suit of armor. This design is from ancient Rome. It looks really old. It could be real. It has nothing to do with the god, so why does he have it? But no, the bigger question is, why did he have so many statues and relics here in the first place? Why not? The decor here is exactly what I would expect from a Sillywood actor, but when I looked at the other side of the room, I saw an exercise bench for his training along with a bunch of houseplants. Just then Raul came in with my breakfast in hand.
お待たせ。ユグドラシルが気になった？
Excuse me, Yggdrasil? I followed Raul's gaze and saw that he was looking at some of the ordinary plants of his.
神話討論会で出会った人から買ったんだけど、ユグドラシルの枝から生えた貴重な一品らしいんだ。これ自体は普通の木だけど、かつてユグドラシルに生えていたから、あと5000年育てたら負けず劣らず大きくなるって言われてるんだ。
5,000 years.
俺が5000年も生きられないことが残念でならないよ。
Right.
でもあれを売ってくれた人、討論会には1回しか来なかったな。どこ行っちゃったんだろ
う。Sounds like you got scammed. He took your money and made himself disappear, it sounds like. No matter how I looked at it, I couldn't see anything special about it. I highly doubted it could live for 5 millennia. It obviously had nothing to do with Yggdrasil, and I couldn't sense a connection with any plants from Celestia.
あ、君にもぜひ次の神話討論会に来てほしいな。きっと君がいれば、俺たちだけじゃ思いつかない新しい切り口を見つけられると思うんだよね。ほら、俺たちは文献や史実を重視するあまり、君みたいに本質を見抜けなくなってるからさ。
His smile was full of emotion as he put our breakfast on the table. I slept with a Sillywood actor, and then he made me breakfast. This would be a dream come true for an ordinary girl. If only he didn't talk nonstop about mythology, maybe some kind of love could grow from that. Are there any women in this mythological society of yours?
それがいないんだよ。昔いたんだけど、いろいろあっていなくなっちゃった。
Some stuff. Did you scare her off? Raul, did you sleep with him too? Oh my goodness. You don't sound so happy about it. I put my hands on my hips and glared at him. He could create the opportunity for budding love, but he destroys it just as quickly.
でも、その子がしたいって言ったんだよ。付き合わなくていい。寝るだけでいいって。
But if you didn't sleep with her, that could have developed into a proper relationship of love.
そうなの?
Yes, really. You didn't understand it at all. That was a huge problem. Besides, didn't you have any desire to date her at all? It's someone you met because of mythology, right?
特に思わなかったな。俺と考え方が違ったし、気がついたらいなくなってたし。
I think that's because you figured out that you didn't care about what you were doing. Paris would call this guy a flag crusher. He had the opportunity for love, but totally didn't recognize it. That's it, Raul. I hereby forbid you from casually sleeping around with girls from this point forward.
なんで? 昨日あんなに気持ちいいって言ってくれてたのに。
Just because it feels good doesn't mean it is good. He was right, it did feel good. Part of me wanted to do it again just for fun, like spending a day at the gym. Oh my goodness, I don't want to read this. But that just pushes love further away. The sensation is so strong it makes you forget all about love and romance. Love is a complex emotion. Hope, compassion, obsession, jealousy, true affection. Just having sex doesn't give you any of that. It's a physical pleasure. There's nothing more to it. It makes you think you're fulfilled when you're really not. There's no substitution for true love, but sex can make you feel like there is. And then you don't realize just how much you need that real emotional connection. That's why I need to stand firm on this. Listen to me, Raul. I put on my advisor face and stared straight into his eyes. Thanks to last night, I understand. Sex robs you of the ability to make good decisions, so until you understand love, it's off limits. And this isn't me judging you. I'm saying this as someone who wants to help you find true love.
良かったから余計にダメってこと?
Exactly, that's how powerful pleasure can be. You'll abandon romance, friendship, all other emotions, and you won't even regret it. Because it's so pleasurable, you feel like you don't need to fall in love. At that point, there's nothing Cupid could do, so pleasure without thought is now officially banned. Pleasure without thought. This kind of idea is also one of the 7 deadly sins. Oh, really? Basically, it's lust, adultery, things like that. The gods don't care about that, but humans sure do, and I can understand why. If you don't care just because it feels good, there would be no such thing as love. The act of offering your body to someone should be a more precious, sacred act. If you really want to understand love, you need to distance yourself from casual physical pleasure. I've never seen Raul look so serious. He really was listening to me intently. He was trying to understand the best he can. I could see that, so I continued on. You said it was nothing special, but this has to be special. It should be a meaningful act. That experience can change people. You said it's like going to the gym, but it's not that kind of casual activity.
そうなんだ.
Absolutely. Do you understand what I'm saying?
なんとなく? とにかくキューピッドが困るってのは分かったよ.
He smiled broadly and lifted his coffee cup.
でもひとまずご飯食べようか. 冷めちゃうし.
Does he really understand? He did have a point though, no reason to let good food go to waste. I nodded and we ate breakfast together. Before I realized it, it was back to the topic of that Mars statue. Thanks for sparing us. I don't care. After Lynette went home, I went up to my room and looked around. The statues and the armor by the window, and my usual Yggdrasil, of course.
彼女、全然変わらなかったな.
She maintained her usual expression as my advisor. She just ate, got dressed, and left. What happened last night, the statues in my room, none of that had changed her.
普通はもっと変わるんだけどな.
What does that mean? Like, think you're weird or something? I scratched my cheeks as I thought about it. She didn't have to tell me. I already knew from first-hand experience that girls change after you sleep with them. Really? Most girls hated seeing those statues after waking up in the morning. Some felt special, some suddenly got really clingy. Then when they realized I felt nothing for them, they get angry, start crying, then get sad and leave. Yeah, because they want an emotional connection, just like she said. That was the normal morning after routine. But she was different. She said I shouldn't do it specifically because it was special, and yet she hadn't changed at all. She woke up with her normal expression. She pointed out that I was focused on the news. She yelled at me, but we still ate breakfast. To be honest, I felt relieved because I liked talking to her about mythology with her. I had wondered what I'd do if she changed, but she didn't, and that made me really happy. But if I said I wanted to keep going like this, she'd get mad for sure. She said I couldn't just take the good without the bad. I do my job, immerse myself in the myth hobbies, have sex whenever I'm in the mood. That's the sort of easy life I want. But she says that love isn't easy, that I have to be honest and sincere. I have to open myself up or I'll never fall in love.
俳優の仕事好きだもんな. ちゃんと頑張って勉強しなきゃな.
Yeah, if it wasn't for his job, I don't think he would care. I'm not doing this just because my agent told me to. I want to learn about love. But right now, I feel like I'll never understand. I probably deserve this. After all, up until now, I've only ever done whatever I felt like. I've always immersed myself in my hobbies and didn't have to think about anything else. This is the first time that I felt the need to learn about anything other than that.
でも、恋か.
I still don't understand it, but I feel like maybe I could, as long as I have her around to tell me what to do. She knows so much about what it means to be in love. Sometimes I feel like she's actually the real Cupid. Either way, I need to listen to my teacher. That's the best way forward. With that decided, I can move on to my daily routine of polishing my statues. Oh my goodness. You got really excited. Let's see, is there anything in this one? Unexpected acting lesson. Yes. Oh my goodness. As long as it's not the same unexpected acting lesson as like yesterday.
馬長から命中させたのと、ただの考古学者がなぜそんな芸当をできるんだ。
ただの考古学者だって？誰がいつそう言ったかな？貴重なピラミッドを荒らす墓泥棒はこのインディ・ジョナーズが許さない。冥界の神プルートの下で反省するんだな。
She watching a movie. The movie was kind of cliche, but Raul does look good in it. After coming back from Raul's place, I decided to watch all the movies he's ever been in. His agent was kind enough to lend them to me. From Raul's debut movie to the one that turned him into an overnight superstar. The one I'm watching now features the heroic archaeologist, Illinois Rogers. More critics say it's a B movie, but Raul's action scenes garnered lots of attention. Every single movie is an action film. In one, he's a jungle treasure hunter, in another, a ruins exploring archaeologist, and of course there's the Lone Soldier war movie. Raul plays each role perfectly, but every single movie has zero romance in it. There are some bedroom scenes tossed in, but it's just for the eye candy. There's no real love involved. Yeah, which he's good at. With that in mind, I think it's unreasonable to expect him to act out feelings of love. But he did say that he wants to overcome this problem, so we had to deal with this seriously. I have to do my best as his acting coach again tomorrow. I stopped watching Raul's movie and prepared for the following day's activities. And the next day, I was walking alongside Raul on the Sillywood set. We'd be spending the day together in our normal rehearsal space.
それでさ、俺はやっぱ君に教わるのが一番いいなって思ったんだ。君は俺よりずっと声について詳しいから。俺、やっぱこの仕事が好きだからさ。今回の仕事も頑張って成功させて、もっといろんな役をこなしてみたい。だって映画の中でなら何にだってなれるんだ。ヘルメスにもアキレウスにもアレキサンダー大王にだってね。だから本気で恋の演技に取り組もうって思ったんだ。そのために俺頑張るよ。
Raul smiled softly as I walked next to him. Maybe that lecture I gave him worked because he seemed ready to do exactly what I said. I guess something good came from sleeping with him after all. But I said all that after we'd already slept together, so maybe he really did take it to heart. Yeah, if you don't have the experience, people won't find you convincing. He's had a change of heart and he's trying to understand love. As Cupid, there's nothing that makes me happier. I cleared my throat and made an effort to stand up tall like a proper teacher. Very well, then I expect you to do exactly what I tell you.
はい、先生。
So Raul, in order to find true love, you are forbidden from having casual flings.
はい、先生。
I would no bringing up mythology with girls you just met. You can talk about your hobbies once you've grown closer together.
はい、先生。ところで、先生と神話の話するのも NG?
Aw, but you are close to her though. No, that's acceptable. I nodded with an exaggerated motion. We then looked at each other and burst out laughing. Raul Aconite, the famous actor, he may be an action star, but deep down he really is sincere. At this rate, he might actually be able to understand what love is before long. As Cupid, I must guide him correctly. But I also have to do it as a human. I can't use my divine powers the way Dad would. Humans don't need the gods. They can't understand love and come together in marriage all on their own.
じゃあ先生、稽古が始まるまであと少しあるから先に俺の演技見てくれる？監督に見られる前に演技上手くなりたいんだ。
Practice being a couple. Yep, that's kind of how I thought they would get together. Sure, I'll be the judge to see if you can make a face of true love.
やったー。じゃあレッスンルームに行こう。
Was this the unexpected acting lesson? Alan grinned. Raul. I said Alan. Raul grinned and ran off happily. He always makes such innocent smiles. His expressions are always so honest and pure. I'm sure that part of him is what charms people. As I followed him, I could only hope that he would find someone to love him, obsessed, parasite, and all. Like you, it's gonna be like the last person she thinks of. Oh yeah, maybe I could. And from there, I went with him to rehearsal day after day. I read the script together with him, taking breaks to sit down, drink coffee, and chat. We ended up talking about nothing but mythology for hours on end every day. I learned that his favorite coffee was a blend from Diana Cafe, the kind with plenty of caffeine to keep him awake. We'd return to the rehearsal space with coffee and bagel sandwiches and practice his portrayal of love. I want some coffee right now. It's like midnight. He still didn't know what love was. I'd ask him if he found someone he likes, but he would just look confused. But he was willing to listen to any advice I had. He never stopped with the mythology stuff, but he did stop hugging casually and started turning down girls that came onto him. With that, his portrayal of love was improving little by little.
Oh, 今のセリフはいいな。ある、その感じ忘れないでくれよ。
はーい。
That day, he was praised during rehearsal for a non-action scene for once. I felt a big sense of relief seeing that. He still couldn't express the feeling of a once-in-a-lifetime kind of love, but Raul's acting was 1,000 times better than when he started. It seemed that he felt a lot more comfortable lately.
先生、さっき先生の指摘通りにやったら監督に褒められたよ。
Raul smiled happily as he ran up to me and gave me a huge hug. His grip was so tight that it made me cough. He was like a grizzly bear that didn't know his own strength. Raul, remember what I said, no hugging.
あ、そうだった。
It's fine, you're his friend. Save that kind of thing for special moments and it'll definitely help with your acting, but you have to be patient.
はーい。
He gave a quick nod and let go. Before he would have said that hugging was totally normal. He just did exactly what I said. I considered that great progress. I smiled at the thought of having such a great student. Anyway, good for you. It's great that the director was so happy with you.
うん、先生のおかげだね。
No, it's because you've taken your performance training so seriously. His agent had told me that Raul was only able to act according to his own personal experiences. But he was getting better at portraying things that he didn't experience. But as Cupid, I did want him to experience love. If he falls in love, his acting is bound to get even better. But unfortunately, there wasn't a single woman on the set that seemed compatible with him, except for you. Hollywood actresses aren't interested in love any more than Raul is. And I got the sense that nobody on the crew felt comfortable approaching any of the movie actors that way. But I can't introduce our members to him because Raul's agent is adamant that he just can't get married yet. There must be someone in this town that's a good match for him, but a Cupid instinct kicked in and I looked around as if I'd spot someone, but all I saw was Raul right up in my face.
何見てるの？
Ah.
そんなに驚く？
Because you're like right there. Not that I'd forgotten, but I was reminded again just how handsome he was. That's a silhouette actor for you, I guess. Talking normally is fine, but I still wasn't getting used to so up close and personal.
君ってほんと素直だよね。そういうところ大好きだよ。
You should be more careful about saying how you like someone too.
はーい、先生。
Raul let out an over-exaggerated laugh. Seeing him smile like that made me forget about everything else going on around us. Raul's most charming aspect was definitely that smile of his. She blushed for a second. His honest nature seems to be a big part of the role he plays. Maybe he got those roles specifically because people saw that in him. It made me even more motivated to make this movie a hit so even more people could experience those charms of his. He's just like vibrating over there.
あら、ラウルが笑ってる。一緒にいるのはキューピッドコーポレーションのアドバイザーさんよね。
Why are you whispering?
いい笑顔だわ。あ、ラウルったら前よりよく笑うようになったし、演技も良くなったもの。
Maybe she's not whispering. I think she's thinking this to herself.
前は自主練なんてしなかったのに。稽古の1時間前には来るようになったし、目論見通りね。講師をお願いして正解だったわね。あとはもっとクライマックスのシーンが良くなるといいのだけれど。
I have a feeling she's going to be like a protagonist in this. Like once she gets what she wants out of Raul, she's going to try to make her go away. Today was one of Raul's rare days off. I was heading to Lost York University. He had invited me to a meeting that the Mythological Society was having. I decided to go not because I was especially interested in that society of his. In fact, I was hoping to meet at least one woman who was interested in mythology so I could start looking for Raul's perfect match. If there's someone like that there, I need to rein him in so he doesn't go for another casual fling. Then he can fall in love. As Raul's personal advisor, I was exempt from my normal office duties. But I really wanted to focus on him and help him out. Raul is the obsessed parasite. His obsession with mythology is real. I don't think he can change that part of him. That's why it's more productive to try and find someone who can accept that part of him and like him for it. Walking down the same path I used to so many times as a student here, I crossed my fingers that there be a woman at this meeting. Besides you.
あ、来た来た。おーい。
As I arrived at the university, I spotted Raul leaning against a parked car waving at me.
よかった。来てくれてありがとう。
Took off his sunglasses and flashed that bright smile of his. I couldn't help but smile back. I'm glad too. I hope we'll have fun today.
うん。ところで実はまだ神話討論会まで時間があるんだ。だから一緒にここでお昼ご飯食べない？
Raul held up a boxed lunch. I recognized that packaging. It was from a food truck that was always parked in the university courtyard. You bought it already?
うん。神話討論会の時はいつもこれって決めてるんだ。中庭で食べよう。
Raul started walking without waiting for a response. As I hurried after him, I was reminded that he definitely had some unique personality quirks.
それでさ、毎回メンバーが変わるんだ。議題が日本神話からギリシャ神話、北欧神話まで様々だからね。今日は特に俺が好きなギリシャ神話についてなんだ。きっと君も楽しめると思うよ。
Raul was in high spirits. He was scarfing down his food while I just nodded and ate at a normal pace. I'd almost forgotten about that food truck. It seemed like the taste had improved since the last time I had it. So we're doing Greek mythology this time. That theme definitely hit close to home for me. As I ate, I reminded myself to be careful not to point out anything if they talked about mom or dad. At the same time, it was certainly a topic I knew a lot about. I was confident I'd be able to fit right in. I'd redone some research again recently too. Raul talked about it almost every day. I was curious to learn more about how myths were portrayed here, so I'd gone to the library. The more I read, the more I realized just how carefree Greek mythology was about sex. No, not just Greek mythology. Every culture's myth had gods that left behind tons of offspring. There were plenty of gods going around committing adultery and getting punished by their wives. Maybe that's where Raul had learned his casual romance behavior. In a way, I felt a bit responsible for it myself.
でさ、神話討論会の人たちはみんな気のいい人ばっかで文献の貸し借りをいつもしてるんだ。しかも独自の理論を展開するメンバーが多くて、大国主イコールゼウス説を唱える人もいるし、俺もネプチューン女性説唱えやすいんだ。ほら、普通は神話を大事にするあまり他所の神話とクロスオーバーして話すのは嫌う人多いからさ。でもその点この討論会は。
Rob really seemed to enjoy this topic. He had a big smile as he continued talking about the group. Speaking of which, Raul is terrible when it comes to love, but he does have lots of friends. Even on set, he seemed like he was always talking with someone new. His innocent friendliness must be what attracts people to him. We continued talking as we finished our lunches. We stood up to head to the lecture hall when we heard it yelling in the distance.
見て見て、俳優のラウル・アコニットがいる。
Oh my goodness.
嘘、なんで今日イベントあった？
Why would they go and meet at a university?
やだ、私大ファンなの。ちょっと誰かサイン色紙持ってない？
見つかっちゃった。
Rob put his sunglasses back on and waved to the group.
ラウルさんってこの大学の生徒だったんですか？
まさか。今日はちょっと趣味で来ただけだよ。
Raul is friendly even with his fans too. We went around shaking hands and taking pictures with whoever asked.
はい、これでいい？
ありがとうございます。嬉しい。家宝にします。
Family heirloom.
ありがとう。でも SNS には載せないでね。マネージャーに怒られちゃうから。はい、
わかりました。
Rob really doesn't mind giving his fans that little bit of special attention. He normally seems so pretty aloof when it comes to strangers, so I was a little surprised.
それで趣味って何なんですか？
実は今日ここの大学で神話討論会があるんだ。知らない？
神話？そんなのあったっけ？嘘。じゃあ私も行く。実は神話って好きで遺跡とか行くんだ。
そうなの？
Nice, a girl that's into mythology. I perked up my ears and took a couple of steps back to avoid interfering with the conversation. I felt like this might actually be the day Raul found love. What? What's wrong with you? For some reason, Raul suddenly went quiet. Oh, because he can tell when girls are faking that they like mythology just to hang out with him. He said that in the common room, I think. Which might be one of those times. It seemed like he was deep in thought. He didn't say anything. He just smiled, with a slightly troubled look on his face.
そうなんだ。でも神話討論会は予約制だからさ。今からの参加は難しいんじゃないかな。
嘘。3人ぐらい平気でしょ？教室どこ？神話ってことは、あれ、なんだっけ？チャーリー教授だっけ？
シャイロック教授だよね。
ああ、それ。私読んだよ、あの先生の本。確か、リアルなんとかっていう本。
Yeah, she's faking it.
グイチャルディーニから見る神話的リアリズムのこと？
ああ、それ。読んだのずっと前だから、ちょっと間違えちゃった。私は全然読んだことないけど、ちょっと気になるな。私も。ねえ、私 私たちも一緒に行っていいでしょ？神話のこと教えて。
ごめん。神話討論会は神聖な場所なんだ。興味のない子には来てもらいたくない。
Huh? His tone of voice had turned a bit hostile. I'd never heard him sound like that, so I stared at him from a distance. Behind his sunglasses, I could sense a cold stare with a touch of disdain. But in the next instant, he flashed a dazzling smile, and his expression completely changed.
ごめんね。じゃあ俺、もう行くから。行くよ。
He's like, don't lie to get close to me. Wait. Raul waved to his fans while grabbing my arm with his free hand. He hurried us away, leaving his fans standing there confused. I know what's going on. He mentioned this already. Poor guy. He didn't slow down until we reached the classroom, then shut the door behind us. He walked so fast that I had trouble keeping up. I could already feel my legs getting sore from the effort. You were walking really fast there. I was breathing heavily. Raul turned to me, surprise in his eyes.
あ、ごめん。早すぎた？
Well, kinda. Raul was much taller than me, so his stride was naturally longer than mine. But that was the first time I noticed it. I realized he must have usually made an effort to match my pace.
そっか。次から気をつけるね。
No, it's fine, but are you okay? Back there you were.
お、アコニット。ジャニー教授の新論文見たか？
A man suddenly appeared and called out to Raul.
ああ、夢と神話の関係性ね。読んだよ。でも俺はあんまり賛同できなかったな。
俺もだよ。あれはさすがに妄想が過ぎる。それとこの間ギリシャで出土された石も見たか？ただの傷に見えるけど、きっと古代神話文字が。
They launched straight into the mythology talk. Apparently everyone here was just like Raul. I don't know what else I expected from a mythological society. As a god, I read a bunch of similar papers, but I wasn't familiar with any of the more recent ones. I really didn't want to interfere, so I decided to just keep my distance and observe. Raul seems pretty different from his usual self. I hoped he could use his hobby to get close to someone, but it was clear there was no chance for that. He'd cut that conversation short and fled the scene, and it was the first time that I'd seen him look angry. I guess those girls might have just been fans of his and didn't exactly have much interest in mythology. They didn't even know the professor's name, or the name of the book he mentioned. So Raul probably decided that they had an ulterior motive and pushed them away. Raul genuinely cares about mythology, so this group really means a lot to him. He probably felt like bringing random fans of his would ruin the mood. In which case, I'd better make sure I don't ruin the mood myself. Even though I was an actual god, I realized that to these enthusiasts I was still a newcomer. Still, I was Cupid, so I had to focus on finding him a good partner. I looked around and noticed something strange in the corner of the room. What's that? I walked over and found a box-shaped device labeled Greek Mythology Gold Keychain. What the? I've never seen anything like this. It said that you can put in some coins, turn the handle, and some kind of prize would pop out. I'd seen stuff like this on TV, but I'd never run into the real thing, so naturally I was interested. I can turn it if I put in 3 50-cent coins. I may as well give it a try. They have 50-cent coins. I wondered what I might get. I sure hope I don't get a keychain with Dad on it or something. I was thinking about how much I fought with Dad when someone reached out and suddenly tossed in 3 50-cent coins. Raul? Huh? I turned around and saw Raul standing there.
回してみて。
Are you sure?
うん。俺、いっぱい50セント硬貨持ってきてるから。
At his urging, I turned the handle. A circular capsule popped out. Goodness, it's so loud. Whoa, that's how it works, huh? Cool. I grabbed the capsule and opened it up. Inside was a young winged man attached to a keychain.
あ、キューピッドだ。
Huh? This is Cupid?
すごい、一発で超レアを出すなんて。うわ、さすがだね。いいな、キューピッド。初めて見たよ。何度も回しててさ、キューピッドは一度も出たことないんだ。いつもミネルヴァかヴィーナスなんだよね。
Raul, the silhouette actor, is into these kinds of toys. I was thinking about that gap in perception when he pulled out another pouch full of coins.
俺もやろうっと。神話討論会やるときしかないからさ、いつもやるために持ってきてるんだ。
He pulled out a few of his 50-cent coins and shoved them into the machine. His pouch, the prizes, it all seems to go against his natural image. How much time do you spend with these machines?
覚えてないな。確かミネルヴァは5個持ってるけど。
I just noticed the writing on the board. I wonder if it's a real language or if it's made up. It looked kind of like Spanish at first, but it's not Spanish, so I don't recognize it. Huh? This is Minerva. It didn't look anything like my aunt. The image of humans of us gods was pretty far removed from reality.
今日来るメンバーにあげよっかな。さすがに6個もいらないし。はあ、俺もキューピッド出したいな。
You gonna trade with him? Raul glanced at the keychain in my hand. Apparently, it was pretty rare. I looked at it closer. A young winged man wearing a loincloth. So this is their interpretation of Cupid. I've seen so many paintings of it, but I still hadn't got used to the human idea of Cupid. I mean, I wasn't a man, and I definitely didn't go around shooting my arrows off in the nude. You want it?
え、いいの？いや、でもこれは君が出したものだから。
Raul started restlessly looking at my face and the keychain. Finding this Cupid doesn't sit right with me because it looks nothing like me. I'm on the side of thinking that Cupid is actually a girl.
え、女の子は？
Yeah, so here you go. I put that keychain in Raul's hand and he looks really happy.
やったー、ありがとう。じゃあ俺の車につけようかな。そしたら君が乗るときに見られるでしょ。
Oh boy.
そっか、君はキューピッドは女の子派なんだ。ネプチューン女性説を唱えてる俺と結構似てるね。でもそこまで考えているってことは君本当にキューピッドが好きなんだね。ネックレスも矢のイメージだし。
Something like that.
でも女性説を唱えるってことはダフネとのエピソードはどうなるんだろう。結婚じゃなくてあれは友情だったのかな。
I really don't want Raul to find out I'm actually Cupid. If he finds out, he'll start asking too many questions and there will be lots of trouble for sure. I don't think so. I mean, Gil accepted it. As proof of that, he starts talking really fast about his own interpretation of the stories about Cupid that aren't true. At the same time, I heard chairs shifting in the room and people started to sit down. It looks like the Mythology Society is about to begin.
あ、席に座らなきゃね。
I felt relieved to know that his Cupid lecture finally ended. But I still can't let my guard down yet. They are about to start their debates on the topic of Greek mythology. I hope they don't ask me to make any statements. I went to go sit in the corner to not stand out, but Raul dragged me over to sit next to him. I'm like, I don't really hope that it skips this. Dang it.
いや、それは違う。そんな説がまかり通ったらクレタ島の宮殿の構造はどうなるんですか。
あんなの大した証拠にすらならないさ。ジャパンを見てみろよ。あそこの城はクレタ島の宮殿と違って随所に鳥居があり、
それよりシバリンガは弾痕の象徴、核エネルギーの象徴と言われますが、私としてはむしろゼウスのケラウノスではと。
私は女神アルテミスに生贄として捧げられたイーペゲネイアの。
He's sure I'm getting heated up about it. Although Greek mythology was the theme, they're all discussing about what the gods are. That's why everyone is utilizing all of their knowledge to justify their theories. Looking at everyone like this, I just sighed. There wasn't a single woman here. Suspicion to get a woman who can talk mythology to stick with Raul is a failure. As for Raul, he is joining in the heated discussion and is shouting out his statements too.
ジャパンでは船に女性を乗せると海が荒れるという伝承があるんだ。これはつまりネプチューンもといポセイドンが女性だという証拠に。
おいおい、そうしたら名前の意味はどうなるんだ？ポシスだ。つまり第一の夫という意味から来ているという説が一般的だ。
でもジャパンの山岳はどこも女人禁制だけど、これは山の女神が女性に嫉妬するからという説があって、つまり船に乗るのを禁止されているのも。
だがアムピトリーテとメドゥーサの話が成り立たなくなる。さすがにネプチューン女性説は無理があるよ、アコニット。
でも彼女だってキューピッドが女性だと唱えているんだよ。ねえ、そうだよね。
Why are you bringing her into this? I'm silently asked for my opinion and I go wide-eyed.
君はネプチューンとキューピッド両方が女性だという説を唱えているのかい？
Okay, so I know what the answer is, but let me just check for a save real quick. No save, so we're going to side with Raul. Well, I do think that both are women. Raul was backed into a corner, so I tried to support the theory that Neptune was a woman.
ほう。その論拠は？
In the mythos of the ocean, the Little Mermaid is one of the most famous. As the god of the oceans, Neptune is a woman. I also think that was a bit too forced and illogical. Noticing that I wasn't quite confident about that, Raul whispered in my ear.
君のそういう優しいところ大好きだけど、討論会の場では本当の気持ちを言わないとね。本当はネプチューンを男性だと思ってるんでしょ。
I'm sorry. Yes, I do think that Neptune is a man. I answered honestly, and Raul looked a bit saddened. Then he turned to the others to back me up.
彼女、今日が初めてだから緊張してるんだ。急に振られて驚いちゃったみたい。彼女もネプチューンは男性だと思ってるって。だから多数決で見れば俺の説は間違ってるかもしれないけど。
Raul looks down, appearing slightly dejected. He was obviously depressed. I was the one who caused this, so I thought I had to do something about it. Is it really important which sex they are? And this might be where it picks up. So let's go back. Got some new music. Okay, we are going to say what we're really thinking. Raul, I'm sorry, but I also think that Neptune is a man.
でも、キューピッドは女性派なんだよね。
Yes, I do think that Cupid is a woman.
その論拠は？
I am her. First off, is it important which sex they are?
ん？
ふむ。
へえ。
Hearing those words, Raul smiles happily.
その話、もっと聞きたいな。
Are you sure?
うん。ここは自由な意見を交換する場だよ。
Raul holds my hand to reassure and encourage me. I'm a bit afraid of laying out my opinions in front of these serious enthusiasts, but oh well. I will only meet them for the day. I thought I was able to say anything, so I continued. In the first place, the gods will rarely descend into the human realm. If they do, they may get injured. Do you agree that's too risky? In ancient times, they may have come more often, but that doesn't mean the legends at the time are correct. Humans interpret gods for their own benefit.
利用？
Yes, the other day I was researching Lord Jupiter, or Zeus. Some people of the royal family just wanted to say they had divine blood in them. Isn't that the same in all mythologies? Famous gods all sleep with humans to have offspring with them. I think myths reflect what humans want. That's why Lord Jupiter's adultery is so often. I'm sure the real Jupiter is surprised to hear all of this. Lord Jupiter is actually very strict, sincere, and regal. I just can't imagine him to be so casual with women. I had always wondered why he was seen that way. I wondered if it was the legends that were wrong. Well, it's from thousands of years ago, so he could have been like that in the past. But Mom and Dad, Mars and Venus haven't really changed. Deep down, the gods have remained the same. That's why these stories should always be looked at with doubt. After saying that, I realized that I had negated the whole existence of the Mythology Society.
素晴らしい
But what came back was not an argument, but pure praise.
なんて神に寄り添った考え方なんだ。こんな視点で物事を見たことなんて今までなかった。
しかも今のリスキーだから降りてこないというのは斬新だ。神は完璧ではないというんだな。
Yeah. Including me, none of us are perfect. Dad is stubborn, Mom is too much of a free spirit, Auntie is a human realm hobbyist.
では君の考える深海とは一体どういうところなんだ。
Wonder what she's gonna say to that. It's probably a place with no entertainment. They would look to the human realm, but they didn't take in human culture. Lady Minerva probably gathers human products, I think.
ミネルヴァ、知恵と正義の神ミネルヴァか。
That's funny.
はあ、知恵を司るから人間に詳しいってことか。なかなか面白い。神も変化をするはずだと君は考えているんだな。
Humans can't stay the same forever, right? If the gods live many times longer, it should be all the more true.
素晴らしい。神も変化するもの。あ、これが我々に足りなかった視点だ。
She gave too much attention. For some reason, there are people that started crying out of being emotionally touched. Did I say something that's strange? I just smiled politely in response. A few hours later, the society conducted more heated discussions before it ended. It's finally over. I was asked a lot of different opinions, but I managed not to expose myself. I didn't think they would ask so much about Dad. I'm currently in an argument with Dad, so I was being curt about him, but they said that was a cutting-edge opinion too. I'm with you. Raul was quite near the middle of it. Maybe he was unhappy about his theory of Neptune being a woman was rejected. In any case, I should go home for today. I stood up to leave and all the members gathered around me.
ねえ君、よかったらこの後僕の家に来てくれないか。うちのコレクションを見て意見してもらいたいんだ。
He's definitely not gonna like this kind of attention with you. Huh?
いやいや、僕の家に来てほしい。実は内装をミネルヴァのイメージで固めていて、ぜひ君にも見てもらいたく。
Everyone all came to me at once, bewildering me. Suddenly, Raul grabbed my arm.
帰るよ。早く。
He seems angry. He pulls at me hard and I started walking, partially being forced. I heard sighs behind me as Raul takes me away. It hurt where he grabbed me by the wrist. On the way back, Raul was completely silent. He had his sunglasses on while he drove in silence. I couldn't say a word to him and just stayed still. I get the feeling that he's angry, but I don't know why. Raul looked forward to the mythology symposium. He said that it was a sacred place to him, so he enjoyed the debates in the beginning. We drove through some more streets, arriving at Raul's home. He's not taking you home. He grabbed me by the hand and takes me inside. He slammed the door shut and then grabbed my shoulders and pressed me against the front door and then... Oh my goodness. Did all that talk turn you on? Stop it. He pushed me so hard it hurt and I couldn't breathe. My vision blurred and my response was sluggish. In the next instant, my eyes opened wide in surprise. Raul was kissing me. He pressed down on both of my arms and kisses me as if to steal my air away. I tried to open my mouth to call out to him, but I couldn't. His tongue and my tongue intermingled with each other. Why? What does this mean? I don't understand Raul at all. When he got the Cupid keychain, he was running about so innocently. When he figured out that his fans didn't really like mythologies, he looked angry. Could it be that I offended that mythology enthusiast part of him? Did I make him angry? But I don't want to accept this kiss if he's just taking out his anger on me. If he's angry, I want him to tell me about it. No, I just taught him that he shouldn't be kissing casually. At that moment, he places his lips over my throat as if he's going to bite it. I felt a shiver go down my spine. I told him that he shouldn't do this unless it's someone he really likes. He holds down my arm, but I shook him off. Raul, I told you that kisses should only be for special occasions.
特別な時だよ。
Goodness. He says that with a sense of urgency, and the look in his eyes showed panic. This is special? Right now? How? No, wait, I wanted to say that, but he covered my lips again with his. My breath is completely taken away by him. I don't understand what he is thinking, making me slightly fearful. But because he's holding down my arms, I couldn't escape. This is a different kind of kiss from the last time. This isn't the going to the gym type of kiss. It was painful and heart-wrenching, a lonely kind of kiss, but I don't know why, but it is heating up my heart. Felt like he is desiring much more than the previous time. What was painful now turned into pleasure. The kiss was sweet and suffocating. I couldn't say no, and my gaze started to desire him. Oh my goodness. He lets go of my hand, but I can't run away any longer. After what he's done, I want to tell him to take responsibility. Oh my goodness. Why? But just like how I lectured him in the last time, lust and pleasure are powerful feelings. It will completely leave emotions behind. That's why I had banned him from doing this. Once the lid had been opened, you can't stop it anymore. We both reached out for each other, but I leaned in for a kiss. I clung onto him and rode on top of him. We are not on the bed, but on the hard floor. Oh my goodness. Treating me like an object of his possession, he slams me down, making my thoughts go blank. Oh no, I have to say no as his teacher. But my heart and my body desires him in hapless thoughts. What emotion is this? Neither of us probably know this. As if Pandora's box had been opened, my primal instincts blot out my emotions. I have to analyze this later on what emotion this is. I have to understand and be able to explain it. It's just lust. It's just all it is. The cold marble is absorbing the heat from us both. My thoughts are completely blank. Wow. He just gives in. Anyway, that's the end of that. Oh my goodness. The value of making love. Are we gonna have like one of these scenes in every single episode? Like, I don't want to. Don't want to. Anyway. Well, that's where I'm gonna stop the episode, because it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna try to edit it and get it out anyway, even though I'm just falling deeper into my bad habit routine of staying up most of the night and just sleeping all day. Which is why this is coming out so late. Yeah, I don't have any thoughts. Hopefully she gets him under control soon. Anyway, if you guys enjoy, drop a like down below and or subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.